I got a special lesson for you today on some cold email templates. So, without further ado, I'm going to now just get straight into it. So, as I mentioned, I have some clients that have said, can you provide me a template for cold email, right? We need something that I didn't have to come up with all of it from my own thoughts, right? It's a lot of work. And I 100% appreciate that because it absolutely is, right? You have to understand your business and then you have to understand everything about how to write good subject lines, how to write good email bodies, where to include videos, how long should these be, how often should. So there's all these types of things that you would have to research or understand or know. Now, if you watch some of the training videos that I talked about, you'll have a pretty good understanding of a lot of that. But what I want to do is just accelerate your guys' ability to turn on some cold email workflows if you haven't already. So the stuff I'm about to show you, this is not specific to just Dubb either. So if you're using like a Go High Level or some other cold email platform of your choice, absolutely, you can plug this into any one of those tools. And in fact, if you plan on doing a massive amount of cold email, I would actually recommend using a dedicated cold email platform just because you can pay a lot less for their little dedicated cold emails and deal with all their deliverability stuff. So it's not as cost effective, or you don't have as much control over it because you're sort of beholden to them. These cold email platforms are out there and they're pretty effective at what they do. So whether you're using Dubb or High Level or your own cold email platform, I just want to let you know this is not specific to that. So as mentioned, the first email in your cold email template sequence is the most important one. And that's why I probably spent the most time sort of covering this here. It is, again, only a framework. And if you find that you're like, oh, I can't fit this in here, my prospects don't have something like this, then don't use this one, right? Or maybe you're not having the right mindset on it. Maybe you need to reframe what your ICP is and where you can come up with something like this. So, anyways, down the line here, a couple of other schools of thought with sending cold emails. There is the idea of sending through the same sequence, right? So you're sending a follow-up and it's going through the same subject line. So meaning whatever the subject line of the first one is, it's going to be the same subject and it's going to say re on that. In this particular workflow, I'm not suggesting that one, but this is something that I think Dubb's going to have very soon. I know we've actually already had a feature suggestion for it. It's in the development. I don't remember if it's live right now, so I'll have to check on that. But the ability to send another email with the same subject as a follow-up. This particular workflow does not recommend that. This is a second email sent separately. So it's part of a sequence, but it's not sent through the same thread, right? It's sent as a new email, which is how Dubb's particular workflow works by default. It doesn't send it through the same subject line. Some do that. Some send through the same subject line by default, and you have to tell it, no, send a new email. So this one is a new email. And this is the one where I actually did say to put a video in it. Obviously, some personalization. And this is as generic as we could come across, guys. But this is not what my full recommendation is going to be. My best recommendation is, of course, going to be to take something else that's personalized, something about them that's going to go in here. A video for you about X, where X is the most important thing for them. What they're going to see on their iPhone or their watch or whatever when they're only going to see the first part like this. John, I made a video for you. Like, that's pretty interesting. And then if they happen to see the full subject, then X is going to be that really important thing that's about them. Again, not about us. So this is what the subject line is looking like on this second one. And you'll see the body is much shorter, along the lines of what I always recommend for a business development sort of cold sales email. It should be short and to the point. I can solve your biggest problem. Here's the video. There's the link. It says link here, but you can put the thumbnail with the preview. Obviously, you can't do a hyper personalized thumbnail here because this is potentially going in a cold email sequence, a series of emails that's going to go out automatically. So we're not having like the hey John or something here. There is, of course, the ability for you to have your personalization text, right? Where the body, oops, that's not the right one. Sorry. Where the body of your email can have the video placeholder on top of it like this. So that you can scale. And I do recommend that, where it says video for whoever, whatever company name, something very specific to them that's actually on the thumbnail of the video. So that is achievable right here, even if it's automated, right? But not the Hey John thing. So this is the second type of approach, much shorter, simpler, but it also has a link. So this is depending upon you guys, making sure your deliverability is in check, right? Making sure you're not on blacklists so that you have the highest chance of having this delivered. There is a numbers game where just saying, like, if you're sending 10,000 cold emails, so many fewer will end up directly in an inbox just by the nature of having any link in the email. So that's just the nature of the game. But if you have, if it gets delivered, of course, you have a much higher opportunity to convert them. So again, it's just a balance of how good is your deliverability versus how good is your video. What's more important, a few less deliveries or a little bit more educational or quite a bit more educational email, an email that's a lot more valuable and gives you tracking and stuff. So those are your sort of cost benefit analysis. Okay, straight into number 3. Now, guys, the video here, this is obviously a really important video, not something long, right? If this is for a cold email, this is for cold outreach. This is a short video of what I call the home runs, where you're not speaking like for 30 minutes. This is not a sales presentation that they've signed up for, right? You are sending something to them. So your job is to hit them with the most interesting, insightful, compelling information that you could possibly come up with. I'm going to just come up with some stuff here. Sandy, you've often been brave to come on stage, and I know your target audience is the churches without websites. And so you probably already have a video here. I'm not saying that you don't, but as an example of that, one might say, like, hey, guys, churches that don't have websites have this pain point, this suffering. Churches that do have websites have this awesome metric that's accomplished. And churches that work with this company, my company, have these websites that perform this result in 2 weeks or whatever, right? Whatever's the irresistible offer. If it's, oh, well, it's going to take 6 months to build our website, that doesn't sound very interesting, right? Might it take that long? Who knows? Probably not. It's probably very quick. I remember, Sandy, you saying something. So, but overcoming their objections and all that in a very short video. Again, not a 30-minute presentation of why these churches are suffering and how this has happened for years, and then the news story. It's not all that, right? They didn't sign up for this yet. So instead, it's the lowest of the lows when you're not doing this, followed by the highest of the highs, which is what happens when you achieve this, followed by an irresistible offer as to why they should do this thing to achieve this and why it's a no-brainer. So that's kind of the structure of what these videos should be. And then when I call it the home runs, it's just when you're watching sports, right? Or the news, they don't show the full game. They show the slam dunks and they show the home runs and they show the highlights. And that's what you want to do here, because just like the news, they know they have your attention for a very limited time. It's a short news clip, short segment. And so it's the same thing here. They have not signed up for this. Your duty is to capture their attention, show that you've done your homework, show that you understand their biggest problems, but not to request 30 minutes of their time in the middle of a workday or something, right? So importance in that video, guys, don't make the mistake of saying, well, oh, I'll just replace my demo process here. No. Could you put that in a playlist? Absolutely. The first video, though, guys, remember when you add a video to an email, it says a timestamp there. Even if they have images turned off by default, it's going to have a timestamp of the video there. And you don't want that to say 10 minutes or something, right? This needs to be shorter than this, in fact, I would say. And once they click that, and they're like, oh, it's a very short video and it seems really good about our problems. When they click that, of course, there's a playlist that can come after that. And that's where you can put your testimonial videos and your case studies, or maybe even a full presentation. I have multiple success stories of people telling me, I had a 1-day touchless close, right? They got one of my videos, they watched everything in the playlist, and then they booked a time with their manager, with their VP. Like, I've heard that story 1,000 times. So I'm not saying don't have your demo or your longer explainers here, but that's not the thing that's in the link. That's not what shows in the email, because people are going to be turned off by a 30-minute video here. They're like, what are you thinking? I don't have 30 minutes. I don't even know you yet. So don't do that. Short, followed by other highly valuable content, your social proof, your why the offer is more irresistible, and then maybe some additional context. So in fact, in the playlist, I would actually, for more information, I probably wouldn't put the demo there. I have people do it and I've had success from it, seen success from it, but I personally wouldn't do it because I want the buttons. I want the signals. I want to know that they actually click something that says, I want more info. They didn't book the time. They didn't purchase, but they at least said, they raised a hand and said, this is interesting, or I want something else. So I would, instead of just putting in the playlist, I would probably put a button for a resource. So anyway, moving right along. This is another one. Close that really quick. This one is actually following up on the same subject line. So this, and it doesn't have to, but the idea here is another just generic. We've tried specific, right? We've tried hyper specific. We tried the most specific version here. These are all, obviously number 3 is not being sent if you got something on the first 2. If you got a bite or a response or a click, you're already following up manually. You're taking them out of the sequence and you're going to go do something manually if you got a strong signal, like a response or a watch or something like that. If it was just an open, I wouldn't take them out of the sequence yet. Opens don't, that's not a strong enough signal. So let's say they have only opened these first 2, or they didn't even open them. That's where this third one comes in. Again, this is just a recommendation of something that's interesting, something that catches their eye. And they're like, wait, did I catch what? It looks like I missed something. And you can come up with your own variation of what that is. This is just a suggestion. But the idea of this one is it's very short, very brief, and it's a follow-up of your previous emails. You could say this in your own words. The idea is it's like, hey, just let me know. I'm a real person. Did you get my stuff? Did you see the video? I always call this, guys, when people are doing like a one-to-one outreach or a one-to-one follow-up, I always call it a bump, where if I go and let's say I sent a dozen custom Dubb videos yesterday, I can at a glance see if they were watched or not. And if they weren't watched, then I'm going to go talk to them and bump them and just say, hey, I wanted to make sure you had a chance to see this. Not going to resend another video, write a whole nother long argument, email, whatever. I'm just going to bump them and say, hey, did you get a chance to see this? So that's essentially what this guy is here, is the follow-up of one of your previous emails. Did you see the video? Did you catch my first email? So whatever your own variation of that is, that's the idea of this third one, though, is you've already sent 2 really good emails. One was obvious that you've done your homework here. 2 is you made a video for them. Even if it was generic, it's still shown that you've done your homework and the video is valuable for them. So these are 2 really good emails. So don't just, I'm going to third really good as well. No, follow up on those 2, see if they've landed or get some feedback or something. So that one's pretty straightforward. Number 4. So they've ignored, at this point, they've ignored 1, 2, and 3, right? We're going to try a different approach. We're going to try a different angle because we've showed, hey, I've researched you. I've shown you, I know you. And then I've done it again. I've shown you a video here where we've talked about your biggest problems and how we can solve them and what we're doing to solve them. And this hasn't worked. They either didn't receive it or didn't respond, didn't bite. So we're going a different direction, which is heavy on credibility. We're going to say, now we've tried about them. Now we're going to try about us. We're going to say, hey, I've tried reaching out to you, but just in case, or just so here's why I think you should listen to me. We've achieved this. Here's some things. Here's who we've worked with that is just like you that we can help. That's essentially the framework of this guy here. Proof, right? If you have case studies, if you have Google reviews, if you have whatever those are, you can insert those here. You want to be heavy on the social proof in this one, because we've talked a lot about them. We've shown them that didn't work. So now we can try talking about us and talking about potentially their customers, right? Or their competitors, their type of stuff, because then it's a different approach to show here's why we're important to them. Not because so much that we know them, because everyone doesn't know everything, right? There's a whole bunch of businesses out there that don't know what they should know, and only until they're introduced to something like this. But then it becomes, why should they trust you and why you? So that is speaking to this, your credibility, your ability to answer the problems that they're experiencing. Guys, after this, we've sent 4 emails and they haven't clicked, they haven't responded, and they have only either opened or ignored completely. We just got to get creative at this point, right? This one, Bill, he has a personal, he used another one that was like a joke, some sort of crying emoji. That's kind of like this, right? It's like a breakup email, or it's like, should I give up on you? Are you dead? Did you die? Are you okay over there? Whatever sort of variation that plays to your humor, that's kind of what this one is. It's just a completely different approach. You've tried other things, right? You tried talking about them. You tried talking about us. Those things have not worked yet. Either that or they didn't see them. So now we got to do something creative that says, well, hey, this is funny. Like, what? I didn't even, why are they saying give up on me? I give up on me. No, I'm a follow through kind of person. What is he talking about? Whatever. Again, there's a lot of different angles for this one I've seen. It's often called a breakup email, which is like, hey, I'm going to give up on you. This is the last time I'm reaching out. Or should I give up on you? It's a question instead of a statement. Maybe I should just call this one breakup email, because if you guys do any amount of search on breakup email, you'll find it's one of the most effective emails that is sent, because people respond to the subject lines because they say, is this goodbye? Or, something like that, right? Maybe I just realized we didn't put the subject line. Is this goodbye? That's a standard sort of breakup email subject line. But there's other ones. There's other really interesting creative ones. And I recommend you guys finding one that fits best for you when you're looking at applying this template for yourself. So breakup email is a fantastic one. Like I said, just check it out. HubSpot, others have shown some really great results, better in fact than most. And which is really cool because we put all our eggs, not all of them, but a lot of our eggs in that first basket to hope they get responded there. And then this one has a great chance as well. Last one is a pre-breakup. Again, these are kind of interchangeable. So this one is like, I tried reaching out, haven't heard back, must be one of these. This one is and when I say interchange, I think I just messed up. There we go. These two guys, I should put that these last two are interchangeable. I forgot to put that note here. These last two are interchangeable. So that means that you could either go straight for the breakup one, or this is kind of like a pre-breakup where you're saying, hey, here's some things. What do you think? And then following that would be the last breakup one. Typically, the breakup one is the last one, because if you send something after the breakup, then it's kind of like, well, I thought you weren't going to email me anymore, right? Then all of a sudden we're not true to our word or something. So maybe I'll even reorder these in the final version. But I do put this one here because 5 emails is often the end of the sequence, and this one is optional. And if you do decide to include it, it would come before. I think that's why I put it last, is because it's optional. And I would say if you feel like, hey, 5 wasn't enough, I want this, I like this 6th one, then this one goes before this final breakup email. So guys, this is essentially the sequence. It's just frameworks. It's just suggestions. Do not copy and paste this word for word. Every single subject and body here needs replacing with your guys' specific content. I've done as much as we can here for providing a generic sort of template for cold email, because it's allowing you guys to insert what's important there based on your business and based on your ideal customers. But there's only so much you can do, right? Like I can't write your pain points for you because it's applicable for 100 businesses or more.